Welcome back to another presentation of Going Big Time with Mike P, who is me, and Steve over there is behind the cameras. He's got two set up, as always. Such a nice guy to be able to do that. So you can see the little things for what we're gonna do today, right? All these little diddles, right? So what are we talking about today? Steve?
Right hand lead.
That is correct. We were talking about right hand lead. What is right hand lead? We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna get into it. But first, I gotta do that YouTube thing because the algorithm is a real beehole. And so please like and subscribe because it's gonna help a lot because I wanna grow this baby, this channel. And I think it'd be cool. So if you're down for it, just do it, you know? Doesn't hurt you, helps all of us. So we wanna do that. Okay, cool. So now we're gonna talk about the right hand lead now that we got that out of the way. So what right hand lead is it's a way of playing basically rhythmic figures and making it so that our right hand is always playing them. Because you know, you can't do like that kind of thing, right? Where you're using your left hand also, which is totally cool. And that's more than valid. So this is just a technique that maybe you could employ in tandem with that kind of thing to kind of create some different orchestrations and, you know, just get musical with it, you know, just do different things. It's like linear playing, right? You never want to go pure linear because then it sounds like, oh yeah, I get what's going on. You want to mix it up, you know, same with paradiddle grooves or whatever. It's like you want to mix all that stuff up with other things to kind of like make it all sound natural and good. We just want to sound good, right? That's what I'm trying to do. But anyway, what we want to focus on now is how do we do this? How do we execute right hand lead and fix our stickings to accommodate that kind of stuff, right? So what we're gonna start with, we're gonna check out some graphics up here. But what we're gonna start with is like just downbeats, just to get started with this stuff, right? So we're approaching this in terms of like a swing setting. So like it's all triplet based, right? I'll probably stick with that only for today. And then later I'll do another one and we can apply this to 16th notes and stuff because it's very versatile, okay? But for now, yeah, we're doing just the triplet stuff. So yeah, I was playing like a swing thing in the beginning, right? So that's kind of the context for it, but you can do this in a funk groove, any kind of like 8th note swing groove or 16th note swing, you can do that. So, you know, experiment with it once we get into it. So first thing, let's talk about quarter notes. So pretend we just see a bar of just quarter notes, right? Just 1, 2, 3, 4, over and over and over again, right? So what's the sticking for that? Well, since we're in triplets, our right hand is gonna be hitting all those. And what we're doing is we're filling in between with the left hand for the rest of the triplet. So I kind of just count them 1 ta-ta, 2 ta-ta, you know, because I don't want to say ti-ta, because that's a lot of mouth movement for, especially when we get faster, but whatever you're comfortable with, get at it, okay? So for this, right, we're gonna go 1 ta-ta, 2 ta-ta, right? So, and we can put a bass drum with that too, for now. We'll be able to experiment with that, orchestrate that however we want, but for now, let's just go, we want 2 and 4 over here too. 2 and 4. Okay, so let's establish the groove first, right? 1. Easy, right? We're just doing 2 little taps here, right? 2 little ghost notes. And then we're doing that accent of those quarter notes, right? I hope this is right. Steve, will this be right?
I don't know, I hope so.
I hope so too. Okay, so that's the downbeats, right? So we're just going right, left, left, right, left, left. Similar thing for when we do the ands, okay? So say we have an 8th note rest and then an 8th note. Steve, you better get this right. Okay, so we're doing the ands now. So we're gonna start with left, left, and then get to the and, right? Because again, we're doing triplets, so it's like one and, right? So one, two, right? So again, let's set it up with a little groove. There it is. So that's it. So those are the ands, right? And that's very straightforward because those are consecutive rhythms, right, that are all the same. So it's an easy sticking. Where it gets tricky now is where we have a dotted quarter into an eighth, or like a quarter note, eighth rest, eighth note. Okay? This thing. Steve, I hope to God you get this right. Otherwise, I am going to be furious. Okay? So anyway, quarter, dotted quarter into an eighth, right? So I'll play like a couple bars and then I'll just hit that rhythm, okay? And then I'll talk about the sticking, so chill out. Here we go. Okay, so there it is. So notice I had to turn around basically on the snare drum to get to that and, right? So what we do is, I have a little cheat sheet, which, you know, I'll figure out, I'll put that on my website or whatever. If you subscribe, you can look. So doing that in that context, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool, so that's it. So you can do this with longer distances, right? So like say we have a half note into an eighth note, or a dotted, no, not a dotted half note, eighth rest, eighth note. So we're like basically hitting the one and then the and of three. That's a longer sticking, right? And so that's mostly just alternating. We're just going one, oh wait, that's not right. We wanna go one, right? I don't use it that much. This gets into the context of, yeah, you can mix things up because it's not the coolest, but it's all alternating, so it's not bad, right? So there it is, right? Whatever, that's a longer phrase. And you can experiment with that. The sticking will change back to the left, getting into the right hand when we do like a half note, dotted half note into a quarter note, right? So it's like we're hitting one and we're hitting four. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the and of 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That's another long one. See, I don't love the long ones, obviously, because it's just whatever. I don't work on that. I like using it in small spurts where the rhythms are close together, because then it's fun. Otherwise, you can do different stuff. You know, get creative with it. Again, I use portions of this, obviously, so you can get as creative as you want to get. This is just me showing you the door. You got to walk through it, okay? So let's talk about a very good exercise to use this, okay? So I'll show it right here, but it's a 16-bar phrase that I wrote out, okay? And yeah, we're gonna try playing it. But the first 2 bars of this are something that we can use as an exercise just to get used to this concept, which is doing all the numbers and then all the ands, okay? Just 1 bar of that, 1 bar of the other, right? And you can do multiple bars of each if you wanna really get into it. But here we go. So this is just that. This is the exercise. Groove first, give us context, then go into it. So as you can see, the quarter note bar going into the eighth note bar, we have to do that turnaround, right? We have to do the four ta-ta and, four ta-ta, one ta-ta, right? So you have to do that turnaround to get to that right hand back to the ands, okay? Stickings are tough on this one, so I keep messing up the speaking, but you get what I'm saying, and it's written right here, so you get it, okay? You got it. So anyway, the whole figure, right, the whole 16 bar phrase, let's go over that. So we got that same thing for bars 1 and 2, then we start mixing it up from there. The second line of this, actually, it's like we're doing like a 3/4 situation, right? We're doing quarter note and then upbeat eighth note on 2, and then 4, and of 1, 3, and of 4, 2, and of 3, 1, and of 2, and then 4 again, right? It's a lot. So that, right, that's just constantly doing that turnaround phrase, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty cool, right? I did a lot of that in the beginning. The next line, it's like a 5, because we're doing down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, right? So. Right, which is pretty cool. And then the last line of this thing, it's like we never do the turnaround. We keep our right hand the whole time. And that's, yeah. So those eighth notes, right, you can go, so that you're just filling in with the one triplet in between the two hits, right? Hope this all makes sense. If you have questions, leave a comment. I'll totally comment back. And we'll figure this out together, okay? Because this is a tricky one. So let's play the whole thing, okay? So again, let's give it some context with some groovy groove, and then we'll go into it. I may even mess this up. I just wrote this recently. So here we go. And there we have it, folks. There's the whole thing. So this can be tricky. Go real slow. Try to get that left foot on 2 and 4. That's going to help kind of anchor things. And then you don't have to count really, as much, because if you know where 2 and 4 are, you're in pretty good shape. But if you're new, I always recommend counting out loud for any new exercise things, because you really want to help build that internal structure of what things are supposed to feel like and look like in your head to really internalize it, right? And counting out loud really helps build that. Tell that to all my students. Nobody does it, but you should do it because it's great. Okay, so get at it, get these rhythms down, start to use it in your playing, and it's gonna add some musicality, some new ideas, right? And that's, only if you want to go big time. Next thing I want to talk about is getting gigs, okay? So I've been playing a really long time, okay? Like a really long time. I'm old, all right? Maybe not as old as some, but older than a lot of people. I'm somewhere in the bell curve in the middle, probably, maybe, I don't know. Either way, what I'm trying to say is, I've had a career, right? I'm still in it. And what I've noticed in this climate, right, as people love to say, you know, there's tons of memes out there that are making fun of like music careers. They suck, whatever. And you know, there's truth to that, but there are paths, you know, like everyone says, which is really cliche. But here's an actual helpful tip. Don't sit around waiting for a gig, you know? It's like, yeah, there's a lot of ways to get the gig, but probably the best way to do it is to make your own. What do I mean by that? Okay, so, you know, getting out of music school, it's like you have all these skills, right? And you have no business sense because they didn't teach you any of that. They just said, here's how to get good, and then they throw you into the wild, right? But what you want to do is think about, you know, which is, you know, awful and gross, but that's the date. That's where we are. This is the world we live in. Is you gotta like market, right? And I'm not talking about like whatever. Start TikTok and talk to it a lot and just show your day in life a bit. Whatever. Don't do that. That sucks. What you want to do is start a real band. Okay? Start a band. And I don't mean like, oh yeah, your passion project, whatever. Like, yeah, we always have those things on the side. What we should try to do if we want to make money as a musician, find your, oh, I hate all these terms, but you know, find your niche, right? Like what music do you like playing? What do people like hearing, right? And this could be a cover band if you love doing that. I used to do that. I hate doing that. I don't like playing covers, but you know, that's something you just got to do, I guess, sometimes to pay your dues or whatever. But it's a valid thing, you know. If that's for you, do it. Like that's great. I did it, like I said, but yeah, I didn't love it. But you know, that's a path. What I really liked doing was playing bossa nova and samba, right? And I met a singer who was into the same thing, and so we were like, let's just start a band that, you know, we want to do weddings or whatever. But we chose that very specific style of music because we loved playing it and we were buds and, you know, we could make money. So whatever, let's do it. That's great. And so we did that and it kind of just exploded, you know, like our YouTube just like took off because like it was apparently something people wanted to see. But that just like snowballed into so many other things, right? But what was so like good about it is that we created it, right? We weren't like just throwing together a band every gig and like trying to book shows and just throwing together, hey, do you know these standards? Come on in, you know. It was like, no, we got together, we practiced, we like made a set, we worked on it, we built our YouTube, we built a website, we marketed ourselves, right? And we learned it all on the go. We didn't take classes for this stuff. So you just gotta like find the thing that you like, you know, that other people can hire you for, that they like as well. Like I said, be it cover band, be it like a jazz group, but because I know lots of people who it's like they're happy doing $50 gigs at places. And that's cool for them, you know, but don't complain about it then. Because if you're making $50 and you're accepting that, then you can't complain about it because that's the thing you chose to play, right? I do that maybe for fun, but I'm not gonna like rely on that for my income, right? I wanna build something. I wanted to build something, and something that had staying power. We've been together 16 years now. You know, that band is still going, and maybe it's very different than what it was way back when we started. But it's still there and it's still chugging, right? We're still putting stuff out. We have like, I don't know, 10 albums or something. It's crazy. So you just never know where something's gonna go as long as you put your work into it. But don't just sit around waiting for the phone to ring or that text to come through, because that's not the way to live. You gotta be proactive, you gotta build something. That's the thing, you gotta create, right? That's why we're here, is we're creating, not just musically, but also bringing something to the world, right? So that's my advice, you know, is put together something you're passionate about, that if you want to do it for the money, then focus on what is marketable, right? And not in a selly-outy way. Do it because you like playing that music, right? And you know that you can market it so that other people will want to hire you to play it. And maybe that's vague. I don't know. But it worked for me. And trust me, it's way better than like doing a whatever $50 gig at some bar like down the street, right? It's a way better way of living. You get passive income over time because you build an audience, right? Which is probably, this is all very cliche at this point, but hey, it works. So be a leader, you know, be aggressive with what you want and do it. Do it, because that's what's gonna help you, okay? And that's what's gonna make you feel like a better musician that's actually pulling your weight and making money and not having to take crappy gigs that pay nothing, right? Nothing or barely anything. Do those ones for fun. There's no shame in that, but don't expect to make a living from that, right? You're gonna have to play 80 gigs a week, that's not gonna happen. So yeah, you know, you can follow this advice. That's I think pretty good, but you know, it's only if you really want to go big time.